Team Jaxn. Team Jaxn. Team Jaxn. Team Jaxn. Team Jaxn. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Team Jaxn, what's happening?
Alright, so boom. If you are unaware of who Derrick Jaxn is, let me bring you up to speed. Derrick Jaxn is a man who's known for sitting in his car with V-necks so deep you can see his navel. But we ain't talking about that right now. Derrick Jaxn is a self-proclaimed relationship guru, known for sitting in his car and giving reactions or monologues on all kinds of relationships. However, he has built his career on finding ways to absolve and exonerate women of all actions in a relationship. You're never wrong. He is the epitome of women are always right. But in the same breath, for the exact same actions, he will vilify and excoriate men on levels so high, Snoop Dogg couldn't smoke it on April the 20th. This is the platform this man has built his entire career on. 4 years. And he's set himself up in a situation in which his following, which is primarily women, view this man as the man women should all aspire to be with, and the man that men should aspire to become. Let me give you a little bit of a view on who Derrick Jaxn is.
I have no sympathy for a man who finds it to be difficult to be faithful after being in a promiscuous lifestyle, and neither should you. Nobody told you to be promiscuous before the relationship, and nobody made you be monogamous with just her. You don't want her? Let another man have her. Simple.
Now, based on what you heard, it sounds like regular things you would hear in response to things that transpire in relationships. However, the messenger should be able to uphold the same values and morals in which he preaches, because when you go to church, you would expect the preacher to practice what he preaches. Well, in Derrick's case...
But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women.
Oh no, not Derrick.
You know what I'm saying? So, going by most people's definition of cheating, yeah, you just slip up. But the truth is, you've probably been cheating months before you actually put your dick in it. And more times, I would say 9 times out of 10, when the dude gets caught cheating, that wasn't his very, very first time cheating. That wasn't his only time cheating. That was his only time getting caught. Let's be real.
I am a clown. I am a clown.
Outweigh all the good that you done. Motherfucker, that one slip up might cancel all the shit that you done. Nigga, please.
Let me give you a little disclaimer, all right? First and foremost, I'm not one to kick somebody when they're down. I'm not one to laugh at another man's demise. But much like Paramore in 2009, you are the only exception. Because as it pertains to Mr. Derrick Jaxn, also known as Homer SIMPson, I got something special for you, because I've been waiting quite some time for you to be exposed as the fraud, big fat phony that you are. But this isn't going to be that kind of video which I have the indignation invigorating inside of my soul. I'm going to do this very calm and collected. Roll the footage.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out. Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took. And definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit over here and make it seem as if I'm perfect and all men are perfect and there are not moments in which you can make mistakes. However, you are the same man who claims men won't make that mistake if they truly love their wife.
If he's not protecting the relationship, how is she supposed to feel protected in that relationship? So I mean, I can't stand whenever we see this, but we've always made the man's actions almost like some kind of responsibility of the woman that he's with. But you can't take on that burden because we've grown. We got full control over our actions. So when it comes to that, if he's not going to do what he needs to do, then she needs to understand what she got to do, which is get out.
So let's listen to him explain the reason for his actions, and we'll see if he takes full responsibility with no excuses. Because remember, this is the same man who refuses to hear any excuse from a man who steps out on his wife. Rightfully so. However, you find yourself in this situation now. So I'm curious, Derrick, why'd you do it?
I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year.
Wait a minute, did I hear that correctly? You, Derrick Jaxn, the self-proclaimed relationship guru, you stepped out on your wife 7 to 8 months ago. So this is very fresh. This is last year, August, September, as you said, when 2020 and everything was going south for everybody in the world. You decided to go south on another woman, but we ain't talking about that right now. We'll get to that when the time comes. However, here's where I had an issue with this.
Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm, married to you guys. First and foremost, I'm accountable to God. Then I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation. I've already told her literally everything. I've given her basically a roll call list. If I've said hello to a woman in the last 12 years of me knowing her, she knows about it. But now that it's been made so public,
you, who always has something publicly to say about other people when they have issues in their relationship, you swore yourself to secrecy. Granted, because of the realm that you work in, I would expect you and your wife would be here on Front Street after, of course, you've handled your situation. You are now the one who brings it to light. But oh no, you had nothing to say until somebody decided to go and expose you for the fraud that you are.
It's important that I first off let you guys know I do not stand by those actions. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. And then secondly, I know that I cannot build a platform preaching certain things, preaching against certain things, and then in my real life live contrary to that for any amount of time or any length of time to any extent, and think that I can't be held accountable. The same way that I preach, men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jaxn's no exemption. He's not exempt from that.
However, you decided to go and act on those urges, proceed over the course of 7 to 8 months to continue to berate the very behavior you were doing in your own marriage and had nothing to say until you, sir, got exposed. You know what that is? You are a hypocrite. You are the exact antithesis of what it is that you claimed to be. Everything that comes out of your mouth is antithetical. Nobody should be taking you seriously moving forward. But let's listen to the rest of your explanation.
I'm also not a victim. Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend influenced me. It don't matter how I was raised and what trauma, whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions that I got to account for. There's no excuse or justification. I've already made that bed and have had to lie in it. And now we're finally getting on to the other side personally in our own healing, in our own marital oneness. And now this is being made public to you guys. So we're bringing that forth to you guys and let you know where we're at with that. But
bullshit, utter rubbish, and absolute falsity. You think you can insult our intelligence like that? Really, you're not catching us in this genjutsu. The only reason why you decided to come forward and make this public is because you were strong-armed into doing so. Because there was a young lady who happened to expose you and say you stepped out on your relationship with her. Had she not done that, we would have probably never heard about this story. You can't try to cloak this and hide this behind the false blanket of we've gone through our, healing process, and now we decide to let you guys in on the situation. I beg to differ, sir, because over the course of the 7 to 8 months in which you were doing, your dirty deeds, nobody knows when you stopped. But this all started 7 to 8 months ago while you were in your car doing your videos about, hey, if you want to have a good relationship, you got to make sure you do this, guys. Make sure you don't do that, guys. But you were driving over to your mistress's house to make sure you went down and up and down and up and in and out of all the region. But you want to sit over here and make it seem as if you went through your healing and now you want to come forward? Bullshit, sir.
We have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you.
As it pertains to his wife, I have nothing to say about her because she was the individual who was done wrong. She did nothing in this situation. She's just feeling the collateral damage of what Derrick Jaxn did. A lot of people talked about her demeanor. A lot of people talked about her appearance, and that has nothing to do with what the video is actually about. So for those who like to comment on where she looks like she's been sedated, she kind of looked like she's in the sunken place. Why did she come out and not do her hair and makeup? Who gives a shit about the way that she showed up appearing? What matters is she said,
I forgave him.
And I get it. Some of y'all, like, this may come as a huge shock, probably a huge disappointment. I let a lot of you down. If you've had a perspective shift on who Derrick is, hopefully it's away from anything remotely close to perfection, and it's simply that, I am a human, and that does not justify anything that I did. But I don't want anybody out there to be putting me on a pedestal. If you did, then I hate that you did that. Maybe I gave you cause for that, and I apologize if I did.
I'm a human. I'm not perfect. Where was this energy for those other people who stepped out? You vehemently decided to go out there and have a whole lot to say, but all of a sudden now it's, I'm a human.
For those who are saying, Derrick, I don't want to ever listen to you again.
And you shouldn't.
And for those who are going to continue to support, man, I appreciate you like never before, because I know it's not going to be easy.
Release yourself out that genjutsu.
Well, like a year ago, 7-8 months ago even, I couldn't see this happening. I thought it was over, and I already had begun establishing my relationship with God, but that's the fruit of bringing things in alignment with God. And the mess that's been made, the mess that's now being made public from last year and years past, that's a result of getting out of alignment with doing things God's way. So that's where I stand. That's where we stand. And again, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Now, initially, I thought this would be the end of the entire saga, and that would be the conclusion of my video, and I give you my final thoughts. But the very next day, Derrick Jaxn decided, I'm gonna react to my own apology video in the third person. And this is where it goes completely off the rails. It was already off the rails and running off a track. Now it is off the road. Woo!
This is Derrick Jaxn. A lot of people think of him as a relationship expert and guru and all of that. Well, he and his wife are making this video because apparently at some point in their marriage, or maybe even beforehand in the relationship, he didn't take his own advice and he stepped out and he got involved with other women, as you heard them say.
This man can't be serious.
Now, as far as what he said, I understand and I completely applaud him taking accountability, because too many times we see dudes and they got this sob story about how they was raised and they broke it home and the goldfish died and they never seen a marriage and all that. He didn't do that. He just took accountability. But
you took accountability? That's not what I heard. I heard a man who used Jesus as a scapegoat as to why you wasn't moving the way you were supposed to move. Moreover, you never used religion when it came to other people who was moving funny in these streets, but all of a sudden now it's religion for you. You had some sort of spiritual awakening when you exited from the room of your mistresses.
now I have a relationship with God for myself, so I hear things a little bit differently. And what I heard whenever he said that was that, when you go into a godly commitment, which marriage is supposed to be, you can't lean on your own understanding. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by your own willpower, your own good intentions and vows and love for a person.
So you're justifying your scapegoating using religion. Okay, I see what you're doing here.
If you go into a godly commitment, you have to lean on God. You have to do things like to God's standard. You have to rely on God's grace. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it for the long term. And that I can personally relate to.
Would you believe he has another spell card scapegoat? Who gave him the Yu-Gi-Oh cards? I don't understand. He reinforced and tried to justify his scapegoating using religion. And all this other lip service is just saying, believe me, I didn't know no better because I wasn't in alignment with God. So by that logic, shouldn't you issue an apology to those who you had so much to say about back when you ain't have God? But oh no, we're not gonna get that. It's just that I know better now. I'm gonna do better. So do better and tell the people who you had all these words to say about, I'm sorry, I ain't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Now, regardless, whether you like them, love them, or hate them, I think this is a great example as to why we don't need to be putting anybody on the pedestal. Nobody. And I think a lot of women did that. And I'm not even gonna say it's the women's fault by themselves, because this dude, he never really showed his struggle. We understand, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, but he never showed those mistakes, not for real. I think he wrote about it or something like that. But he never showed that side, so it's not really all on the women. But I've seen a lot of women put this dude on the pedestal to the point of idealizing him and even comparing their man to him. Like they'll compare their man's good, bad, and ugly whole story to Derrick Jaxn's snippet, you know, which is of course a standard nobody can meet consistently.
No, he did not just blame his female following for putting him up on a pedestal and comparing their husbands, their boyfriends, their significant others to the standards that he put out in snippets of video. He does not have the right to do that. I do. And all the other people who happen to not support him, we can look at his followers and say, y'all kind of dumb. You took advantage of their emotional state. You took advantage of the issues that they had in their relationship. You, the quintessential, the self-proclaimed relationship guru, took these broken women, took all of these women and the way they felt about their men, and you reeled them in. You made money off of them, and now, after you get exposed, you turn around and say, hey, you know, you guys shouldn't have put me up on a pedestal, man. You know, we all human. Fuck you, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's healthy, I don't think it's wise to ever idealize somebody or compare them, like, not only because somebody can be living a double life, which I don't think is quite the case here.
You had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to come out and say out of your own mouth, oh, well, you know, he never came out publicly and spoke about his own outstandings because you knew why you did it. Because it wouldn't sell if you were transparent and honest from the very start. You made sure your personal life was a mystery. You orchestrated this from the very start. It was a genjutsu of all genjutsus. But the only issue was you made sure you preyed on those who are not in a mental state in which they can see through you, sir. And I see straight through you, sir. How dare you, out of your own mouth, try to excoriate your followers who put their trust in you to guide them. Unfortunately, they put their trust in you, but to guide them in the right direction. And now all of a sudden, when it's revealed that you set them off course because that's where you were headed, you now turn around and say, you know, it's not just my fault. It's your fault too. And listen, he may not have said it's all their fault, but the fact that he said out of his own mouth, it's not just their fault, and then says it's my fault too, excuse me, this is none of their fault.
According to his wife, behind the scenes, without anybody knowing, of course this part ain't gonna blow up, but he's been putting in the work to kind of reconstruct where that all had been broken since last year. So I don't think it's a double life thing, but
is he out of key? Did his chakra eviscerate? Did gear 2nd, gear 3rd, gear 4th happen to wear off? Maybe Goku sapped the rest of what was left. Because I'm trying to figure out why he can't seem to keep that same energy he had for all those men in the past. Now all of a sudden, it's, you know, behind the scenes, he's putting in all that work to make sure he could repair the damage that was done. You ain't have none of this to say about all those other brothers, but now all of a sudden, it's you. Now you want to turn into Paramore. I am the only exception. I beg to differ, sir.
I'm more so on the side of his wife and just basically letting this be a new chapter of how I see him, because I do believe that his content over the years has helped a tremendous amount of people. You know, he tells the truth, he speaks facts, and quite honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I've needed several new chapters in my own life, Lord knows, and I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm no guru.
No, he did not just try to bail himself out by saying, but you know, his content is still accurate. He speaks facts. Over the years, he still helped a ton of people. You should still support him. Are you serious? How much you want to bet he gonna still try to plug his book before this video's over?
Nonetheless, I know some people will see this type of video, even though he's come forward and he's been completely honest. Some people are just gonna close the book on dude. Some people are gonna close the book on this dude and say, you know what? I'm done with you, cancel culture, come here.
This man is a master manipulator, a puppeteer, if you will, capitalizing on people's emotions, people's broken emotions, and monetizing and bringing in revenue on that. And I can't blame the man as a businessman. I understand it. It's extremely profitable to make money on broken women. You've seen countless individuals do it. However, to publicly do this and slap them in the face verbally.
By the way, he has a book detailing how he and his wife overcame all of this in their private lives a long time ago, matter of fact. It's called Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other. So if you're in a situation like this, you want to let God in to totally restore it better than new, click the link down in the bio or up in the bio in the caption. I got a 50% off deal for you guys who are watching this video right now.
son of Odin, child of Arceus, follower of Jaxn, offspring of Morgan Freeman. This man plugged his book and proceeded to add a 50% off discount in an effort to bring in revenue and capitalize on the fact that he stepped out in his marriage and now it's since been exposed. This man is a textbook narcissist. Moreover, he's an ultimate opportunist. Somebody get Edge, get Adam Copeland in the room, and he needs to file for copyright infringement. This man is trying to capitalize on the fact that he cheated. Moreover, he's capitalizing on the fact that he caught y'all in a genjutsu. Anybody who follows this man moving forward, let me tell you something. Something wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. This man is a whole clown. We knew he was a fraud from the very start. And there's not a damn thing he can say to try to shield that. In his original initial apology, he could have easily just said, I came out, I went behind my wife's back, I didn't publicize that, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done something like that, and I have been very dishonest with my falling. But no, he never apologized for that. He apologized for his action. He didn't apologize for being very dishonest with you guys. Moreover, he proceeded to now, which is literally a day after he made his apology, he proceeds to review his own apology, react to his own apology, and then proceed to plug his book in an effort to bring in sales. Sir, do you have no shame? Do you have no shame? I'm telling you right now, this is a dude who need to be brought to Suplex City. I'm telling you right now. If you see anybody who shows up talking about, hey, Team Jaxn, what's happening? They need to be brought to Suplex City as well, expeditiously, because this man is a top 10 schemer. CEO, founder, chairman of hashtag Team Scheme. I'm telling you right now, this man is an extortionist.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women outside the marriage.
Y'all just don't be like, you know what? I'm gonna act right so that she doesn't have to do all these circus acts to get me to act right.
Because
how come a man just can't come into a situation and say, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do?
That's how good I
am. Or doing what you're supposed to do in a relationship with those intentions.
It's about being right. And that takes time. That takes self-awareness.
That's a good point.
That takes a certain level of grooming and raising. But I think the number one thing that could fix all of this is self-awareness on the part of the man. Like, I don't want to make this all about what the woman is doing wrong and not protecting herself and not being a good enough investigator. It's about us preparing ourselves and saying, you know, if I'm not prepared for this relationship, I don't need to get into it.
Right.
This is actually a narcissistic red flag. This is a red flag that you come across a guy who is a gaslighter. And just a quick summary of what a gaslighter is a person that tries to replace your thinking, your mainframe, your blueprint of thinking, how to receive and perceive reality with theirs. Because if they can do that, then they can manipulate you to believe anything that they want. When you see a whole lot of exceptions, there's a 1% chance you just came at the wrong part of time in his life and whatever else. There's a 99% chance he's trying to see how malleable you are, teachable you are, gullible you are, and how much you'll go for it whenever the relationship actually happens. And trust me when I say we're all more susceptible to this whenever we're actually in love. So it's already the dating phase, and he's already on that type of time. You need to run for the hills. Again, this is a special type of person to avoid because he's almost definitely a narcissist.
Come to think about it, his name was you. Damn.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch!
What was the point?
It was me all along, Austin!
In conclusion, I'll say this. I've never been a proponent of cancel culture. You'll never see me on the front line singing, cancel him, cancel her. However, if there was ever a person who fits the mold for what cancel culture so vehemently seeks, it's Derrick Jaxn. This man built his entire platform on preying on broken women, proceeds to be an absolute hypocrite himself. And the moment in which he's exposed, in his apology, he uses religion as a scapegoat, proceeds to react to his own apology, and then spits in your face. Rather than being sincere, he turns this all into a ploy of trying to make money off of the situation, providing a 50% discount. If I was ever a person who supported him, today would be the day that I stopped. I ain't telling you, go over there, leave your hate. I ain't telling you to go over there and berate the man and his wife. No, don't do that. But for me personally, if I was somebody who went and supported him, I'm going up out that door. Because as far as I'm concerned, as it pertains to this particular genre of a career that he's seeking in the sphere of relationships, take the L out of lover. Your career needs to be over, brother. Seek some different kind of ventures. Because you just turned against everything that you stand for. And moving forward, there is 0% integrity in anything that you say. Most people, after something like this happens, you'll have to do a lot of damage control. As far as I'm concerned, there is no damage control because your career is dead.
All these good times, all these laughs, all these times you told her that she was beautiful to you, that she was the only one that you wanted, and then you go and you cheat and you go against everything that you said. You caused a year of past damage, plus you caused how much time it's gonna take for her to get back off the ground of the shit that you just did.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Motherfucker, that one slip up might cancel all the shit that you've done. fuck all the what's gonna outweigh all the good that you've done. It might not even be worth the price to pay of you possibly doing this shit again.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
You don't get to make a mistake and then dictate the terms or the amount of time it's going to take for you to pay for said mistake.
I do believe that his content over the years has helped a tremendous amount of people. You know, he tells the truth. He speaks facts.
Tell me I did not just see that.
They want to snap their fingers and make everything go away, everything that she's still dealing with, etc., etc.
By the way, he has a book detailing how he and his wife overcame all of this in their private lives a long time ago, matter of fact.
It don't work like that. And it's not old shit just because you tired of feeling guilty about it.
Jax, what's wrong? Where's your strength? Where is your pride?
So your one slip up can absolutely mean everything to that woman, even though it only meant some pussy to you. Keep that in mind so you don't slip up that once and lose something forever.
Stupid. Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
I think this is a great example as to why we don't need to be putting anybody on the pedestal.
That ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
Nobody. And I think a lot of women did that. And I'm not even gonna say it's the women's fault by themselves because this dude, he never really showed his struggle. You know, we understand, we're all humans and we all make mistakes, but he never showed those mistakes, not for real. I think he wrote about it or something like that.
Treat us like a damn fiddle!
Now, unfortunately, the guy that was telling us about the 20-year mistress having man was totally against it. He was like, fellas, do not cheat on your wife ever. And I was like, hell yeah.
Man, there you go with that bullshit.
I mean, what would you rather have? 20 years with your mistress dodging and ducking, or 20 years with your best friend vibing and fucking? For me, it's an easy choice.
Who said that?
Nah, man, when I get married, I want to do it because I found somebody I not only give up my life for, but give up my lies for. Shit, put my guard down for. Only share my body and heart with her. Otherwise, I'll stay single.
That bitch lying.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women outside the marriage.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
You see, when you're dealing with a confused man that doesn't know what he wants, he can have it right there in his face and still not know what he has. So if you're dealing with confused men, don't act confused whenever he leaves you heartbroken and your time wasted. Because that's what confused men do.
So you know I ain't worried, biatch. Stupid bitch.
You make a premeditated decision to lose something important, hell, you deserve to lose it. And I ain't got no sympathy for you.
Thank God. You should have said that before.
Without my wife's knowledge of it, and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out. Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know, goddamn.
But I'm no guru.
Fuck this man, dog. Fuck this man.
From me to you, go fuck yourself.
Facts. Send in the reinforcements. Bring in the cavalry.
It's time!
Here comes the United States champion!
Benoit.